Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. This is our look at Chief Wahoo McDaniel. We already did part one. Now we're looking at part two. This is when he starts full-time wrestling. Before, he was playing football and wrestling on the off time. Now he has become a full-time wrestler. And Jack, let's pick it up.
April the 15th, 1969, the Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas. Wahoo McDaniel defeated Joe Blanchard. On the 18th, Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas. Wahoo McDaniel defeated Buster Lloyd by countout in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And then on April the 21st, 1969, Northside Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas. Wahoo McDaniel defeated Johnny Valentine. April the 22nd, Sportatorium in Dallas, Fred Curry, Jose Lothario, and Wahoo McDaniel defeated Dusty Rhodes, Johnny Valentine, and Baron Von Raschke. And then on the 24th, the Sportatorium in Corpus Christi, Texas, Johnny Valentine and Dusty Rhodes versus Reggie Parks and Wahoo McDaniel. Then June the 3rd, 1969, Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas. Again, Baron Von Raschke defeated Wahoo McDaniel for a title change where he won the NWA Texas Brass Knuckles Championship. And then on June the 5th, Sportatorium in Corpus Christi, Bobby Duncombe versus Wahoo McDaniel. And then on the 20th, Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas, Wahoo McDaniel defeated Gary Hart in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Then on the 24th at Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas, Wahoo McDaniel and Thunderbolt Patterson defeated Johnny Valentine and Dusty Rhodes. Then on June the 27th, Downtown Recreation Center in Houston, Texas, Wahoo McDaniel and Thunderbolt Patterson defeated Baron Von Raschke and Buster Lloyd, title change for the NWA American Tag Team titles, and this was a 2 out of 3 falls match. And then August the 22nd, Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Wahoo McDaniel defeated Dick Murdoch in 2 out of 3 falls match. August the 8th, August the 30th, 1969, Municipal Auditorium in San Antonio, Texas, Wahoo McDaniel, Thunderbolt Patterson defeated Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch. And then September the 9th, I'm looking at this wrong. September the 1st, Northside Coliseum.
Hey, by the way, that's the 1969 call.
Somebody
That's
calling
1969 calling.
There's somebody calling me from Dothan. I don't know.
September the 1st, 1969, the Northside Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas. Wahoo McDaniel and Grizzly Smith defeated the Stomper and Dusty Rhodes. October the 13th, Northside Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas, Wahoo McDaniel defeated the Spoiler. And then on the 23rd, Sportatorium in Corpus Christi, Texas, Wahoo McDaniel defeated Johnny Valentine, which was a title match for the NWA Texas Heavyweight title. Then October the 29th, City Coliseum in Austin, Texas, Johnny Valentine defeated Wahoo McDaniel and recaptured the title, NWA Texas Heavyweight title. November the 17th, 1969, Northside Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas, Wahoo McDaniel defeated the Great Malenko in a football match. December the 9th, Sportatorium in Dallas, Wahoo McDaniel and Pat O'Connor defeated the Great Malenko and Johnny Valentine. And then on the 23rd of December, 1969, Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas, Gorgeous George Jr. versus Wahoo McDaniel.
By the way, Buster Lloyd would later become Rufus R. Jones.
Wow. Okay. Did not know that.
Before we move on, we've got to show this picture of Johnny Valentine. This man was in shape, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young Johnny Valentine. This will be about the time you wrestled against Wahoo McDaniel. And we have to throw this picture back up to here. And we have to talk about this just for a minute. That's a very impressive headdress.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is
That
awesome.
is tremendous. And I see why he changed, because that had to be very hard to handle and take care of. Tremendous stuff. All right, Rodney, go ahead. Since 1969 has already called us, we heard it while
Yes,
we were
twice,
recording.
and had a message there that we'll have to call them as soon as this is up with. All right, we started the Sam Houston Coliseum on January the 2nd, 1970. It's for the World Heavyweight Championship. 2 out of 3 falls is Dory Funk Jr. versus Wahoo McDaniel. Ended without a winner, as it was a time limit draw. Sam Houston Coliseum again on January 16th, 1970. It is a 2 out of 3 fall match with Wahoo McDaniel defeating Gene Kaninsky. Northside Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas on January the 26th, 1970. Wahoo McDaniel defeated Johnny Valentine for the NWA Texas Heavyweight Championship. Sportatorium, Dallas, Texas on January 27, 1970. Killer Carl Cox defeated Wahoo McDaniel by disqualification. Sam Houston Coliseum, February 6, 1970. It's Wahoo McDaniel defeating Johnny Valentine. Once again, it's a 2 out of 3 fall match, and it was for the Texas Heavyweight Championship. Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas on February 10th, 1970. Johnny Valentine defeated Wahoo McDaniel for the NWA Texas Heavyweight Championship. This is a series of matches. 2 out of 3 fall. That title goes back and forth, the Texas title. Municipal Auditorium, San Antonio, Texas on March the 14th, 1970. Johnny Valentine and Killer Carl Cox defeated Mil Mascaras and Wahoo McDaniel by disqualification. Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas on May 15th, 1970. Killer Kowalski defeated Wahoo McDaniel. Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas on June the 23rd, 1970. It's Wahoo McDaniel's defeating Bob Orton. Then we head to the Sam Houston Coliseum on June the 26th, 1970, in Houston, Texas. Wahoo McDaniels defeated Terry Funk in a 2 out of 3 fall match. Taylor County Coliseum, Abilene, Texas, on October 12, 1970. Paxson versus Wahoo McDaniel. Sam Houston Coliseum, Houston, Texas, on October 30th, 1970. Toro Tanaka defeated versus Wahoo McDaniels, and it ended without a winner as a double countout in a 2 out of 3 fall match. Downtown Recreation Center, Houston, Texas, November the 13th, 1970. Ernie Ladd and Wahoo McDaniel defeated Johnny Valentine and Killer Carl Cox in a 2 out of 3 fall match. The Round Building at the West Texas Fairground in Abilene, Texas on January the 18th, 1971. Buck Robley defeated Wahoo McDaniel. Downtown Recreation Center in Houston, Texas on February 12, 1971. Is Wahoo McDaniel defeated Klondike Bill in a 2 out of 3 fall match. Northside Coliseum, Fort Worth, Texas. That's on February 15th, 1971. Wahoo McDaniel defeated Johnny Walker. Sportatorium, Dallas, Texas, February 16th, 1971. Wahoo McDaniel and Johnny Valentine defeated Bronco Lubitsch and Chris Markoff. And then it's March the 5th, 1971, Sam Houston Coliseum, Houston, Texas. It is Wahoo McDaniel defeated Toro Tanaka for the NWA American Heavyweight title in a 2 out of 3 fall match.
By the way, this is not every match that Wahoo McDaniel had during this time period. By the way, we just took the bits and pieces of his matches, because if we went through everyone, he worked 7 days a week. It wasn't like today they wrestled 1 day a week. It was 7 days a week, so we would never get through the the time periods. There will be some times when we do get to Wahoo that we talk in length about some of the things that happen, especially when it gets to Atlanta and he's wrestling for Georgia Championship Wrestling. There will be a lot that we are going to talk about during that time period, so it'll go a little longer. But Johnny Walker, by the way, becomes Mr. Wrestling 2 in 1973, I believe it is. So it's 2 more years before he becomes Wrestling 2. What a great amount of wrestlers Wahoo McDaniel wrestled. Johnny Valentine and Wahoo must have wrestled for the next 10 years, because in 1974, I think they're in the Carolinas.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I've seen some of those. And Johnny Valentine probably should have been the world champion. He really should have been. He was really awesome wrestler.
All right. If you enjoyed this video, give us the big thumbs up. Subscribe to the page. And go one step further, hit that notification bell That was a very weak notification bell.
Hold on.
There you go. That's better. That's the notification bell we're going. And share the video. Share this video. Let everybody know about pro wrestling inside and out. And thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next video right here as we continue our look. We will continue our look on Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Thank you so much.